2024, I got a DUI and I was on probation for a DUI before that. So I caught charges for a second DUI, driving without a license, illegal substances in the bloodstream, and probation violations on all that. I ended up getting locked up. And while being locked up, I found that there was a couple different counties over the past 5 years that had issues with me. I just didn't really care about any of that. Once I found out the amount of time I was looking at, things started getting kind of serious. My sister bailed me out around Christmas. Within hours, I was drunk and high. And that's when I realized I needed more help.
What's going on, y'all? It's Cowboy Chuck here from Up and Coming Podcast. At this point, got my man Tyler right here, man. You know what I'm saying? He got his thing going on and fitness, man. So, no introduction. My man, tell me a little bit about your journey, what brought you to this point, and what made you want to come and create this type of fitness.
All right. Well, in 2024, I got a DUI and I was on probation for a DUI before that. So I caught charges for a second DUI, driving without a license, illegal substances in the bloodstream, and probation violations on all that. I ended up getting locked up. And while being locked up, I found that there was a couple different counties over the past 5 years that had issues with me. I just didn't really care about any of that until I was locked up. Once I found out the amount of time I was looking at, things started getting kind of serious. My sister bailed me out around Christmas. Within hours, I was drunk and high. And that's when I realized I needed more help than just fixing myself by myself. I put myself into a rehab. I did the extended stay, so it was 82 days up in the mountains. From that point, I realized I really didn't have anywhere else to go. So I elected to go into a halfway house. That brought me to Harrisburg. In that halfway house, I learned way more about addiction and alcoholism than I had known before. And that's when I started to identify as an addict.
Quick question, Tyler, before you expand a little more. You said you spent 82 days up in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
It was that, so pretty much that's like a rehab
Yeah.
center.
That was a rehab.
Okay, so with that being said, you're saying that, did they, like have some sort of way they like weaned you off those addictions? Or was it like strict cold turkey?
So when I went in, they have ways of detoxing people. I was away from drugs and alcohol for 3 months when I was in jail. And then when I came out, I was high and drunk for 4 days. So when I went into the detox center, my levels weren't as high as a normal person's, or they weren't, it wasn't at that level where they had to lock me down. Because I wasn't a long-term user, I had just, like I said, I had a 4 day nice little bender over Christmas. So my alcohol content wasn't that high. The cocaine content wasn't that high. And the marijuana content was not that high. So I got to go from the detox into the inpatient unit within 2 days. It was in that inpatient unit that I saw things and I realized this is where I need to be and I need to understand why I work the way I work because I don't want to come back to this place.
And you were just telling me, you just talking about like the halfway house, how when you got there, and she even more extended help, what I mean, to really completely, reshape yourself and yourself on the path you need to be.
Yes, sir.
They start teaching you and just give you more aware knowledge of, real dark side of like the addictions of alcohol and drugs and stuff. Like, what was that like? What did you
It
teach you?
was, okay. It was hard living in a house with 26 other men, having to learn how to deal with other people's personalities, having to learn that the world doesn't revolve around me anymore. I'm not the center of everybody's attention. Also, that everything that had happened up until that point was my fault. Those are things that I didn't understand beforehand. These are things that I had to learn, and I had to accept responsibility for my actions that led me to a place where I could not take care of myself at 32 years old. Fortunately, the staff at Daystar is amazing. I had a very good counselor. We worked on all these, what we called character defects, the selfishness, the selflessness, the carelessness of myself. I started coming to the gym here when I was in the recovery house for that same for Daystar's recovery. It started off every Saturday and Sunday with a friend. That friend does their own thing now. And I met this core group of dudes here that one of them is in the same program I'm in. The other ones are from penitentiary, and all they're trying to do is just lift and pay their bills and stay clean. That's what everybody's trying to do in here. Really, what we're trying to do is just be better people.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Right. And you got your own business now.
I do.
You're pretty much a fitness enthusiast, just like myself.
Yes.
Fitness, man. Tell us about it. Like, how you came up with
All right.
it? What was the motivation behind it?
The motivation behind it was, at one point when I got out of rehab, I was 275 pounds. Today, I'm walking around at about 225. I dropped down to 208 at one point. So I did what's called a body recomposition. I learned nutrition before I learned fitness. Figured out that all these institutions and these penitentiaries and the halfway houses, they purposely feed you food with a higher glucose content to make you docile. They don't want you acting up. So they're trying to make you tired. And once I learned that they did that, that's causing overweight and obesity within cities and just addicts in general. Once I learned that, I put myself on a new schedule of, what was it? It was chicken, sweet potatoes, rice, ground turkey, ground beef, steak, and salmon. I started learning about protein, carbohydrates, and calories. I ended up losing a couple pounds. I didn't stay steady with it, and I gained it all back. So I went on another weight loss journey, and that's where I really started getting into the fitness side. So I knew the nutrition. Now I know the fitness side. What came with that fitness side was learning about how calories actually work. Today, I'm eating 3,200 calories a day, and I've stayed the same weight for the past 3 weeks.
The average human supposed to have about 2,500, right?
Sorry?
Average human supposed to consume about 2,500.
21 to 2,500.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a no, allegedly no.
Yeah.
Eat.
A quick little thing is take your body weight, times it by 12. That's your calorie intake. Just quick, real quick.
So you just told me something.
Yeah,
So you take your body weight, times that by 12.
that's a maintenance. And that's
That's like muscle mass or like.
Yep, no, that's just regular. If you want to learn something real quick, take your body weight, times it by 12. That number is your maintenance calories. So if you want to lose weight, eat under that. If you want to gain weight, eat over it.
Just gave you a nice little pro tip, y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all already told me something new. So if I'm 220 pounds, but I want to stay within the range between, let's say 210 to about, like,
Mhm.
what you said a while ago. I times the way that I'm at now, times 12, and eat lower than that.
Mhm.
It'll balance me out around that way. Did you have did you take any sort of like medical terminology classes or something like
I
that?
did it. I just learned all this stuff from talking to personal trainers. I personally have 3 coaches. I have a supplemental and peptide coach, I have a sponsor, and I have a bodybuilding coach, all of which are in the recovery field, all of which do bodybuilding. That's one of the ways I keep myself clean is I have this group of men who I'm so close with that if all of them say it's okay, I do it. If they all say it's not okay, I don't do it.
So one of the biggest thing I get from what you say is, having a support group in your journey
Yes, sir.
is very important because it keeps you balanced. It keeps you, going down the path and sane at the same time
Mm.
what you want to do. Because I agree with you, if we don't have a supporting cast around us, easily fall out.
Oh yeah,
real
you
fast.
fall off. And one of the hardest things as an addict is realizing that most of the time my ideas aren't the best ideas.
Right.
So I have to have other adults that keep me in check all times. And that's just how I choose to live my life today. I really don't try to go off path. I've learned that when I go off the path, I either end up in jail or an institution or a halfway house or possibly death. I don't want any of that for my life anymore. So I got to make sure I check myself every time I make a decision. Today, I went heavy on the bench. Probably shouldn't have done it. Everybody told me not to do it. And turns out I couldn't actually do it.
Yeah,
I failed.
I got some footage of my man working out. He a heavy lifter sometime like myself. He gets busy, so don't think, he can't get busy with it. Just sometimes you lift heavy and you get that dopamine hit of hitting a certain type of heavy weight that you know you never hit before, but you do that one good time, it gets addictive. So you have to. Anyway, tell us how, or tell the audience how they can find you, look you up, they gonna check you out and get some tips, or even might book something with you.
Right now, Flying Fitness has a business Instagram. I don't have personal social media. I have a problem with scrolling too much. So I keep it all business. Flying Fitness 1776 is the Instagram. That's how you can contact me. I run the Instagram account itself. You can find help with weightlifting videos on there. We're going to start putting nutritional content along with physical fitness content on there as well.
All right, see, that's my boy Tyler, man. If you gotta go, y'all. I appreciate your time, bro. Till next time, y'all. Y'all stay blessed, stay humble.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, thank you.